In light of the current internet crisis some West African countries are facing, a number of speculations behind the possible causes of the subsea cable cuts have been spamming the internet. Cargo ship anchors, shark attacks, which interestingly are more common than you'd think, and even human sabotage have been speculated to be possible causes. Subsea cables are very tough, but every 3 days or so, one gets cut, according to Telegeography, a telecommunications market research company. The primary culprits, accounting for about 85% of cuts, are fishing equipment and anchors. So often, ships will anchor themselves to ride out storms, but the storms push the ships, thereby dragging their anchors on the ocean floor. And so there goes your internet cable. This may well be the culprit in this case. Some earlier sources pointed to movement of the seabed as the possible cause of the cable cuts, but the odds make that unlikely. But whatever the case, the NCA has said it will take a minimum of 5 weeks to complete repairs of the cables. The Minister for Communications confirmed this in her report to Parliament yesterday. Now, according to Bloomberg, 4 ocean cables off the coast of West Africa were cut on Thursday, 14th March, and repair vessels were scheduled to be dispatched to make repairs. Information was not given on when the vessels will be dispatched or when repairs could be completed, but we can infer from a similar incident involving South Africa in 2020. They experienced a similar crisis, and it took them about 34 days to fix the issue. That's exactly 5 weeks as well. I wonder if the National Communications Authority is basing their estimation on this. But we'll be dealing with this crisis for longer than we initially expected. So just think of it as internet doomsday. The telecoms with their credits have been salvaging capacity from other sources to meet the demand of local consumers. So kudos to them. But until full restoration is done, we'll be crisscrossing this crisis. In the wake of this development, I've also seen some people talk about the so-called unreliability of subsea cable networks and how we should be exploring other alternatives like wireless data transmissions powered by low-orbiting satellites as a long-term alternative. But that's all wishful thinking. Subsea cables are not replaceable by alternatives like Starlink, at least not on a global scale, and not within the next few decades. Tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Meta are still investing heavily on fiber optic cables. About $10 billion is being spent on new subsea cables from 2023 to 2025. Handling such high volumes of information is no easy task for satellites. Loss of signal and data during transmission is still a hurdle a lot of players in the industry are trying to remedy. And then there's of course the ridiculous cost involved. We are talking billions of dollars per line to transmit terabytes of data through space. So it's a far more expensive alternative to subsea cables. And it's lower than fiber broadband, so there's that. As of 2023, there were just under 600 subsea cable systems carrying over 99% of intercontinental data traffic. In contrast, we'll need several tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of satellites to go wireless. Just think about all that space junk. I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but in light of the recent war in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas and the growing escalations between the US and Iranian proxies, there's also been speculations that the Houthis could stage attacks on underwater sea cables in the Red Sea as a blow to the US and their allies. About 17% of the world's internet traffic passes through the Red Sea via cables. This is the main vulnerability of subsea cables. They easily thwart corrosive salt water and have a measure of defense against sharks and anchors, but have zero defense against human attacks, putting them at the mercy of bad actors. That's all I've got for you today. How have you been dealing with this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and if you've got any contributions or cautions, feel free to ask. I read all the comments.